Hey good people, it's entertainment attorney Stephanie Hay here, and let's hop into In the News. Hot off the presses as of yesterday, it was announced that Tina Turner has sold her catalog for an estimated $50 million. Now I got this article sent to me several times in my DM, which I appreciate this. I love stuff like this. And then of course I posted in my stories, but I want to come on here and let's have a little discussion about what it included and kind of let's just talk about like the why behind it, right? So first, what the deal included. It included the selling of her royalties and her interest in her master recordings. It included the selling of her writer's share, so that money you all like earn from ASCAP, that sort of thing. Her writer's share of the publishing, and let's caveat that she probably never really owned a portion of the publishing share. Not saying it didn't, but I get the impression time and place she probably did. So she sold her writing share of publishing. She also sold neighboring rights, which essentially are her royalties earned from the master recording public performance. She's also sold her name, image, and likeness rights, and that was in an effort to promote future sponsorship and merchandising deals that they will broker for her. So she sold those rights as well. So those are the primary rights that were a part of her deal when it was made, or at least that's what's being reported, right? So the big thing is, well, why does she want to sell these rights when you have artists like Anita Baker? We all know, she was on this big thing of don't stream her music because she's trying to get her masters back and they weren't giving them to her. So on the flip side, you have people like Tina Turner, iconic, selling all of her rights, right? So it's kind of like, well, why does that make sense when essentially we've been told to hold on to those rights? Like, don't sell them. That's things that you can pass on through legacy and all that great stuff. So why would Tina Turner essentially then be selling these rights? Well, I want to point out, guys, or at least in my opinion, you have two different types of artists. Now, granted, sis, I love Anita Baker, love her to death, but the value of the catalogs just are not the same. Tina Turner probably has owned her masters once she left Ike. Since then, she owned them, thus, moving forward. So she's always earned the royalties associated with the ownership of the master recording versus Anita Baker not having that opportunity to do so. Different family dynamics, passing it on. And we'll talk about that in a second. But, you just never know the reasons. But I would suspect ownership versus Tina Turner has always owned her masters in a sense, and Anita not having that opportunity. She just has not made the amount of money that Tina has made through ownership over the years. And so for Anita, it was about her being able to take that ownership back and now really make the full portion of the pie that she was on, versus Tina always having the opportunity to do that because she always owned that portion. And let's be clear, the pots, although everybody's music is great, the pots of money are just different. And so on the side of Anita, I would just argue that with a smaller pot of money, you want to make sure you own all the money, you collecting all the coins yourself versus somebody else collecting half of the coins and you only being able to collect the portion of, let's say she wrote most of those songs, that portion. So, or even the portion or the selling of the artist royalties that she would get from those masters versus her being able to own the master. So I would think of it like that's kind of what the difference is when we start talking about people who are trying to get their masters back versus people like a Tina Turner who are selling theirs, right? So you have that dynamic. But then I also want to talk about why at this point and why she looking to sell. In my opinion, this is an estate planning move. As I said at the top of this video, she is 81 years old. Not saying she may or may not be in the best of health. We don't know. But at this point, especially as African Americans, it is time to start estate planning. And I'm sure she is looking towards the future and trying to figure out, okay, what is my legacy going to be? Where is my music going to go? Who is going to control it? We don't know her family dynamics, which could vary. So she may not trust that her family is going to do what she believes is in the best interest for the inheritance and the integrity of her music. So this may be her move to say, okay, no, I'm going to do what I want to do with it and see it happen now while I'm on this side of heaven versus on the other. Okay. So And looking at what that looks like from an estate planning perspective, this is her move to say, okay, no, let me go ahead and transfer these rights over right now, get this payout, and now I can control the money that, let's say, had she not done this, they would have, my family, let's say, would have sold it anyway, and they would have got the money, and we would have had all this bickering or things like that we hear in the news when people don't take care of their business prior to passing away. So this may be a move that allows her to control what happens and take that money and divvy it up amongst her family moving forward now, without having that messiness of letting them handle it. She's taking control, and in my opinion, I appreciate that. Like, go ahead, sis, do what you feel like is best, because these fools might get out here and start cutting up once you leave, and your music just be, in shambles. So I totally agree with her making, to me, this estate planning move to move forward in the future. Like I said, also, she sold her name, image, and likeness rights. So now there is additional money that will come from this deal, I would assume, because that money, when they license her name, image, and likeness, she may still be able to, a part of the deal, earn money that is tied into that. Because to me, most of it is tied, the 50 million, let's say that's actually the actual number, is tied into the selling of all of the copyrights, not necessarily in this selling of the name, image, and likeness. And she may still be able to garner a check from them for that. But this move may be her way to make sure she's set up her estate the way she wants it to be set up, versus allowing her family to do what they so choose once she's gone on to glory, as the people would say. Okay, so that's my 2 cents. I'm here for what she's done. It could be the best move for her, but this is about how long the money goes and making sure she has control and she can do what she feels like is best for her music and keeping that integrity. Okay, so that's my 2 cents on it. Tell me what you all think in the comments. Do you think she should have sold it? Do you think it was worth it? Do you think her family will be able to carry on her legacy like, she would have wanted it to go, to move forward? So yeah, let me know. Hope you have a good day. Bye.